Sonic fans, something huge is happening behind the scenes at Sega, and it can completely change how we see Sonic in the future games. And today I want to dive deep into what we've never seen before with brand new leaked content, and some jaw-dropping hints about what Sega might have planned for the end of the year. And genuinely based on the track record and kind of like the timeline, I think I've got a pretty good ballpark, and especially with the financial regulations of Sonic Crossworlds beating Sonic Superstars like crazy, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be insane. So you definitely don't want to miss a second of this, and also, if you like me as a person, make sure to like and subscribe, but only if you like me. Like, if you don't like me, then don't. Also in this video, I want to go over some potential Sonic Frontiers 2 leaks, and kind of like a whole speculation based off of what we already know, and potentially a November 2026 release. So honestly, this is all taken up with a grain of salt, we don't entirely know, but I strongly believe this based off of the track record and the fact that there have been some credible sources in the past. And now I'm going to be revealing this later into the video, but the first bit, we're going to talk about quite a lot of cool, interesting information, so stay tuned. This video kind of explores why Sega's changing, exactly what we're going to be getting in the future, and, well, obviously not to the full extent, but I believe that this to be true, and I want to hear, like, the discussion about what you guys think in the comments below, but this is really, really good news. So if you remember in the previous video, if you haven't checked that out already, remember this old model that we saw? Now, I read a couple of the comments in that video, and I actually thought that, yeah, we could be getting a Heroes remaster, or not a remaster, a remake, because that game is notorious. It has all 3 Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. I just think that would do incredibly well, considering these recent statistics by Sonic and all characters. According to SteamDB's estimations, the Steam sales of Sonic Racing Crossworlds have reached or slightly surpassed Sonic Superstars' all-time numbers, and this is seen on the Steam's top 10 sellers for several days. Now this is awesome, because obviously we know Sonic's getting bigger, the movies have projected Sonic up to new heights. We've obviously got Sonic Frontiers, which started all of this, which I want to make evidently clear. Sonic Frontiers is my favorite Sonic game of all time, and also Shadow Generation is just solidifying that whole 9 out of 10 consistency. I truly believe that we're in the Sonic Renaissance, and not only this, but the amount of money that Sega is pulling in right now means we're going to have bigger budgets. So the next open world we're going to have is going to be not just one, like 5 islands, or even if it is, they're going to be massive. It's going to be one huge map. We're going to get so many more characters, there's going to be more dialogue, more animations that are more flushed and polished. You can even tell in Shadow Generations that some of the cutscenes just look way better compared to Frontiers, and I don't believe that's mainly due to the time constraints. I think it's because they have a much bigger production scale. I can't source that, but I've seen it somewhere. I've seen that Sega have hired a lot more people for the future Sonic games, which is pretty obvious. Like, you don't even need a source to understand that. Like, and I find the simple things like this brand new leaked supersonic animation for Sonic Crossworlds. Now, some Discord leaker was going through some of the files for, I'm not going to go super technical into it or his name or anything, but someone actually went into the files of Sonic Crossworlds and actually found this supersonic animation, because he was originally supposed to be in the game for some sort of contender. And it's really awesome to see this animation, because I was kind of underwhelmed with Supersonic in this game, and he looks awesome here. I feel like what saves Sonic is the animations. Even if the model isn't perfect, I think the animations look awesome. I think even in this sort of crescendo, I think Sonic looks impeccable, and I love that. But anyway, Sonic and all characters also said that Sonic Racing Crossworlds is out, but the Hedgehog engine keeps running. So this is something that I have a huge certainty of, because we saw this back in December 2021 when we saw the Game Awards and we saw Sonic 2 and we saw the leak for Sonic Frontiers, and we're getting around to that time where I believe that Sonic is going to start getting those original leaks back, and I feel like we're going to start getting something around late 2026. I think either next year is going to be a Heroes remake, or we are going to be getting Sonic Frontiers 2. Now, we're not entirely sure about this. I think Sega knows we need that sequel ASAP, and I believe that they wouldn't be stupid enough to not release that sequel. Now, they could do another Sonic movie situation where they release Sonic Frontiers 2 in 2027, and then they also release the movies obviously they're going to release the movie, I think it's March 2027, that's when they're going to release that. But anyway, sorry for waffling on for so long. Sonic Racing Crossworlds is out. We've got the 35th anniversary coming up, the Sonic Spin and Sonic Jump trademarks, which is awesome, and possibly a brand new Game Awards announcement, which obviously it's going to be awesome. Just let's see what Sega is cooking. I believe that with everything that's happened, I can't see what they won't show. I think we're going to get something, and that's awesome. I mean, obviously, this whole concept art of Sonic Frontiers 2, obviously, it's not going to be called Sonic Frontiers 2 unless they actually call it that. If they have Like, if they have the power to actually call it that, I'll be surprised. And also, like, these pictures of Supersonic, I feel like this one does him justice a lot more. I think the really strange thing with Supersonic is, in some photos he looks good, and then in other photos he doesn't look so good. And I understand that people said in the previous video that he's just a model for a racing game, but I also believe that he needs to look at least somewhat consistent. Like, for example, in Smash, I think Sonic looks awesome, but like, obviously that's not, like, he doesn't take the center of attention, but he should at least look to a substandard B grade. And I think that this is okay. I think this is good. But yeah, also this is a really cool shot as well. As you can see Sonic in Kronos Island. You can tell that this is something that they wasn't gonna add because it says missing string table entry. And also just someone called Sakura said there's something so magical about the Supersonic model in Sonic X, and I feel like this could be a genuine amazing inspiration to take from the future games, because as you can see that Sonic has a much more like rounded shape on his quills. I think this would be so awesome to see Sonic like this again, because he has like this presence and this kind of aura that, you know, Supersonic's supposed to have. And I feel like if they can make him bigger, that's what's going to make him shine. I think another thing, the quills, I think if they were able to just make him a bit taller and make the quills a lot more flushed out, I think that's where Supersonic and just in general the Sonic design is going to flourish. And that brings me to another point, that I believe that the whole cast need a redesign. I think Shadow Generations showed that Shadow actually looks really cool if they like actually make the animations decent. But I think in general, if they really want to make Sonic look like a AAA experience, they're gonna have to redo these models. They don't have to go all out. I think it's mainly just the quills. And another thing, Sega add Whisper and Tangle this December. Yeah, there's going to be a complete roadmap for Sonic Crossworlds. And then also this photo is awesome. He's doing the same pose from Final Horizon, which is so cool. I love that so much. I also wanted to go back to Sega Informer because I want to show exactly what the animation of the future Sonic games could look like. Now, obviously not to the extent of Squash and Stretch. We've looked at this in a previous video, but I believe that this is crucial to explain some details we didn't explain previously. Now, some people were quite upset with how goofy this looks, and to be honest, I like it a lot because it expresses the kind of like the cartoony but also badass kind of vibe of Sonic. Now, I completely get that, but I also wanted to talk about the model here. Now, obviously, I think that the model in Frontiers 2 is going to have a massive upgrade. I feel like we're going to be getting more of like an Adventure 06 kind of mesh for Sonic, because I think Sega fully do understand the seriousness of Sonic now, and I think these short quills don't do him justice. And also this video by Sam Procrastinates, which is kind of like the same sort of like style, but also just in Generations mode with deform on and deform off. This would be the perfect potential for Sonic Frontiers 2. I thought I should reiterate this because just this whole model here, what we need is expressiveness in Sonic's eyes. The mesh of the actual model itself needs to have big enough features so then Sonic can actually be animated without it looking kind of awkward, or Sonic looking like he's boxed in, like squashed in. But also the best case scenario is if Mars just come in and animate all these cutscenes. I mean, this is just peak Sonic. I love this model. I would be happy with it. I think this completely adds to the adult kind of nature of Sonic, but then also doesn't make him look too cartoonish. Like, there's like that serious kind of like Halo vibe, if that kind of corroborates with you. Anyway, I kind of wanted to look at this as well. Next tweet's going to be super important. This one is kind of like what we want. We want, I doubt Silver's going to be in it, but Super Shadow and Super Sonic in Frontiers 2. We need that. I think it's going to happen. I think Shadow's in Frontiers 2. I think the foundation, they've already said it, and I think it's already there. And also, these designs are also really cool, Sonic Frontiers 2, but Sonic Heroes, I think we are getting a Sonic Heroes remake. I strongly believe that. If we do not get it, come at me. Like, comment in a year's time, and I will completely take the blame. So with the increased budget, the overall traction, and the current scores, I believe that we are going to be seeing Sonic Frontiers 2 next year. Now, the reason why is because of this post right here. Now, obviously, we can take this with a grain of salt, but we could potentially be seeing this. Like, a new rumor suggests that a sequel to Sonic Frontiers is currently in development and planned for a release on November 2026. And the information comes from Twitter, from Powerful, who has previously leaked accurate details about Sonic Racing Crossworlds, including the addition of SpongeBob, which honestly people thought was a joke, and it's actually true. And according to the post, the next mainline 3D Sonic title will continue the open zone gameplay introduced in Sonic Frontiers, with further refinements that build upon the foundation that the game's last year Shadow Generations, and notably claims that Ian Flynn will return as the story writer. That's pretty obvious, and Flynn is known for his long-time running work on the Sonic comics and his recent contributions to Dream Team, Shadow Generations, and Sonic Frontiers, and has become a fan-favorite writer for the series. And whilst this information remains unconfirmed, it lines up with the Sega's typical holiday release schedule for the major Sonic titles, which often targets October or November, and a 2026 launch would coincide with Sonic's 35th anniversary, which would make it a fitting time for the major new entry. Now, I believe that we will be getting a teaser in December with the Game Awards. It's either that or we're getting a Heroes showcase, and that's why I thought it was really important to make this video today, because I could have just made it about a bunch of random new information, but this I could not have not said this. I had to say this because we're gonna see something in December. So mark your calendars, December. We're gonna see either a leak, or it's either December or January. They might shadow drop it in January, because I believe, based off of Shadow Generations, when that came out, that was just shadow dropped, and I believe that we're going to be seeing something. And director Mario Kishimoto previously stated that in 2023 that Sega intended to keep evolving the open zone format, so confirmed obviously, with Sonic Frontiers receiving a generally positive feedback. It did, and especially after the post-launch updates and the quality of life improvements, and many fans are eager to see how the game's format can grow. And while Shadow Generations builds on some of those mechanics, the rumored sequel is expected to represent a full-scale advancement of the gameplay style. Now, I want to know what you guys want in Sonic Frontiers 2. We've heard it's Angel Island, some crazy thing about a city. I would love a city. You know what I would want? I would want New York. And you can switch between Sonic and Shadow, especially after Shadow Generations. And also kind of watch this last bit, because this bit is also kind of intriguing too. But I did a video on the animation and models of the Sonic game, so if you want to go and check that out, I would love that. It's going to be on the end card, you'll see it around somewhere here. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, like and subscribe, and obviously let me know what you think about what we might be seeing this December. I know this is quite a short one, but I'm super excited. The increased budget, the fact that Sega finally have their screws on, they're getting consistent 9 out of 10s. This is going to be awesome, and I'm so excited.